Hello, my name is Todd Lipp. I'm a Senior Solutions Advisor at Rocket Software, and today I'll be doing a brief overview of Real-Time Data Metrics, or RDM. This is the primary screen that you'll come into when you come into RDM. RDM, Real-Time Data Metrics, is functionally based on the dataset summary and the dataset detail screens that you saw on the tab. It's an enhancement in functionality, as well as it's a lot easier to use. A lot of what you can do in RDM, not everything, but a lot of what you can do in RDM, you can do in the tab. Generally speaking, not as easy to get to some of this data in the tab. You might have to build some queries, and so that's really kind of the purpose behind bringing RDM into the picture, is because this is really effective way for you to get a lot of ad hoc questions answered. You get a call and you want to know what the most recent data sets in your pool are, or the most biggest data sets in your pool. These are all things you can do pretty quick, where maybe in the past you might have fired off a SAS report or something like that to get a look at what's going on in a storage group. So there are multiple views. There's primarily a data set you're going to start with, probably is the one I'm going to mostly work with today, but there are several specific views, and each one has associated column sets. Some of them use the default, some don't, but each one has associated column sets. We've added the all dataset view recently. It was an enhancement for another client. And the all dataset view is kind of an enhancement beyond what we originally released as Zoe, in that I can pull up data here, the RMM database, CA1, your HSM controlled data sets, all that information can be pulled up in a single view. So all data sets, wherever they sit, is kind of the idea, to filter by the source. So if you just want to see your source data type, either RMM or CA1, just want to see HSM data sets, you'd set your source data type to HSM, etc. So right now we have DADV, which is disk, RMM, MCDS, BCDS. By default, you're going to get all of them, and that's all data sets view. One other enhancement that came with the all data sets is this ability to basically use some SQL statements if you want to do an advanced filtering, as opposed to just doing the filter with the UI. I'm going to move off from the all data sets panel right now, because most of what we're going to talk about today is just going to be from the data sets panel, but I did want to touch on the new function a little bit. We go back to the data set panel. We have a pretty clean filter here. I'm just saying if it's a data set with any name, and we're going to run a query. Now this is, by definition, a query against the last time I ran collection. Just to go back real quick to the all datasets view. If you want to run collection, you do that here, but we're not going to run collection for our purposes today. Largest data set now in the storage group. So what we should see here are a list of all the storage groups, and you can drill down to the storage group and then sort by the size of the data sets. The data collection data will be available to anybody later. If you run a collection, 10 minutes later, somebody else comes on and they run a query, they're going to get the data from that collection that you ran. They'll also have the option of running an on-demand collection anytime you want to. On the only types of collections aren't going to hurt you too bad. Where you're going to get into some longer running collection times in general are when you go after RMM or you go after the control data sets, because typically, for most environments, of all the data catalog, a significant portion of that is sitting on HSM archived. Right? It's a subset. It's a smaller subset that's sitting on disk live, because of long-term retentions and the cost of disk, a lot of stuff sits on HSM ML2 data. So if the data set, kind of scared to try, because I know they're doing collect, we'll take a chance here. So we're going to save this and we're going to run a query again. And again, this is not refreshing the data. This is just acknowledging that I've made a change to the filter. We're going to run another query. So all data sets here are not cataloged. So there will be certain information that is not available if you pull up uncataloged data sets. All this information is pulled purely from the VTOC. In the case of its catalog data, you'll get a combination of the catalog data. If you go to the VSAM column set, you'll see associated entry name or the cluster, right? We don't know. This is just some data we found on the volume. If I had gone after only cataloged data sets, then I would tell you the cluster associated with this entry in this field. There's some other information that just isn't populated if you're going after data sets and you're not using the catalog. A lot of the GDG data is not available. Getting something from the catalog, SMS information is not available if you're going after data that's not cataloged. An important distinction to note is that if you go, if I sort these, I might find some. These data sets here that look like multiple data sets with the same name. In our case, they are, because we have access to multiple LPARs that these data sets exist on, and they're cataloged on different LPARs. The VTOC is visible. to this particular development LPAR. RDM will not make a distinction between multiple data sets that happen to have the same name or multi-volume data sets. It will list every version of them on here. So that's when you need to look at the cataloged information to determine which one is, whether it's multi-volume or not. You can always add anything you want to the column set. So if you go into the columns here, you can see we provide some default allocation. These are all vendor provided. You can see that I have a private column that I was just playing with. You can add anything you want to your column set. Anything over here can be included. So the default views will show the volume. Some of the other views might show the volume depending on going after. They're designed for specific, like if the GDG view or GTG column set drills in specifically on things that are relative to GDS type data sets. But if you want to, you can add the vols here to any view you want. Let's run a query because we've updated the view for the column set. Right, so it does list the vols here. And I believe the default view will list the vols here. They won't all, allocation I believe will, but again, some of these column sets are specifically designed to give you, and again, storage group, these are all non-catalog data sets. So let's fix that first of all, because a lot of information missing. Yes. And now you get all the information. If you pull up catalog data sets, you'll just notice if you see that a lot of this information is not populated. One thing you might want to look at and see if you're pulling only non-catalog data sets, but your SMS information is populated, store class, management class, storage group, all that stuff is populated. And that's, again, all these column sets and views are specific to certain types of analysis. I feel like I'm just not finding something that I should find. I find that playing with a specific column set of your own can help, because then you can start targeting data sets you know apply. Like, I don't know why this filter has found something, so I'm going to make sure I add that to the column, and I'm going to make the filter specifically look for something because I'm just not seeing what I expect to see. So it gives you a lot of opportunity to drill into things and to kind of resort and reswizzle the data real quick. I mean, once you've done your collection, which again your mileage will vary, now you can play with that last collection and you can spin the data any way you want, any kind of reports you want. Thank you for watching.